Okay, so wrong, no, right thing. This is the microphone. Okay. Um, I have a bit of wind here. I hope it doesn't disturb the mic too much. But let's see how far we can get in this small interval. So last time I stopped on trying to add Mobix. If you haven't seen the stream before, that's me taking my one way up to the road and trying to see this will the Mobix help this up. And specifically, if I show an example of what's happening here, let me just open the live video chat. I need to have like a link for this thing. I think it's this one. When it eventually loads, it's probably gonna go live. Yes, thanks. Not thanks. Yeah, okay, it's live. So it is very wrong example there, but whatever. So I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna close this guy and just move this. I think I had like a shortcut with this guy where I can move it to a different not screen but display, I guess. Oh, it's all the buttons at the same time. Okay, let's try this. It did not work. This one, no? Oh, I cannot. Okay, whatever. Meant to do this. Okay, I'm just gonna find this guy. Not interested in it as much. Actually, maybe I can just show it here on the side. Cause okay, here we go. Kind of fits. I just need to see the green thing in there. Make it smaller somehow. Okay, that works somehow. Okay, so yes, so back to this guy. So this one had so if I look at the one that I have deployed, so here to have, yeah, I think I will have logged in. So I was working on this edit button in particular. So when we press this edit button, it goes, if we look at the reaction of this, it goes all the way through like all these layers to this layer. So it jumps all the way through 5 different layers to actually reach a stage of, hey, now I'm gonna flip the thing. And what we did on the last one is that we actually made a property here. I think so. Yeah, we injected this store thing, and I wasn't entirely sure how to do this, so I kind of hacked it together. So we added this thing, which added this edit idea property here, and that property is what we can call right now here. And I think the reason why we, because it's like kind of undefined here, so maybe we can. I wanted to put it right here, but it is actually needs to be it needs to be a function first which accepts that. So I either need to have a function which returns another function, or just kind of do it like this. One other thing I can do is I can use the fancy pants from Lambda. Oops. And what Lambda allows me to do is it allows me to put a is it an entity, I think, not the always one. I might be confused about which one I need to use. Because what is the difference between those two? Edit idea, TS ID, happy. So maybe I can just do this, then it's kind of even less code. I don't know what's the difference between the returns a function that always returns the given value, and identity is a function that does nothing but return the parameters applied to it, good as default placeholder. It does feel like this is more an identity than, but it doesn't like the identity. That's kind of a problem. type void is not assignable to type. Oh, this is not a function, that's why. So this is a function, while this guy returns a t, which is whatever the value is, and this guy returns a function which returns a t, which means that we need to use always not identity function, because identity is just gonna give us whatever. So let's see if it works. Add, edit. Okay, it works. So the problem that I kind of introduced last time is if I run any of my tests are all completely screwed now, because half of the stuff is working with the old one, half of the stuff is working with the new one. So I want to at least fix this for this one. And eventually when my tests run, here we go. Store is not available, make sure it's provided by some provider. So I'm trying to test here, and this is actually a very common scenario I see with even Redux. So let's say you are testing a component. I'm like, I need to draw this. It's kind of hard to explain. 1 second. Okay, here's my drawing board, because it's kind of hard to explain it with just waving the hands. Okay, almost there. So I need to, last time I did this, everything crashed intensely. So I'm hoping that this is not going to happen this time. And, okay, what? Okay, it's gonna start this. I know, double the video, right? Stop video, mute the channel, and which plugin is required to share iPhone 9? Oh, via cable. Okay. Cool, so you should be able to see my screen, and most importantly, oops. Okay, so let me just launch the right thing first. And okay, here we go. So here's the problem that I've seen many times in Redux and similar stations. So if we have okay, great. I can draw if I can draw, but I cannot draw. The reason I cannot draw is because I have forgot to charge my Apple Pencil. Then, so let me just close this one and I'll try to explain it with fingers, I guess. So if we have a container and let's say this is the top level container, so this is like your app container, then we have a list here, like in this example. So I have list, and the list is not a container, right? It's just a component, but it is wrapped with a connect, if we're using Redux, for example, which practically makes this guy a container, because you want to use the container version inside your container. So now the question is, if you ever rendering not shallow, which I think I'm doing right here, maybe, you get this kind of errors, and that's actually kind of confusing. Oh, okay, this is not that one, but if you ever rendering non-shallow one, you won't be able to do it anymore, because this guy is now connect and you need to run to the provider, so you always need to keep it to shallow rendering. In this scenario, I'm getting the legit error because my DLS container is getting injected, and that I added this inject. I didn't add this inject here while it's trying to inject, so it's like, what are you trying to inject there? So what we can do is we can say here, inject and we inject the store there, and then we put this guy. And to keep this guy the same way, I'm just gonna export it here, and then in our tests we're gonna use oops, that's not my test. Jump to training test. So here I'm just gonna not import it this way, I'm gonna import it like this. Oops. See, I'm already doing something like this. Idea, list, container. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Can read property, edit idea. Yeah, but I want to see anything here. Okay, so can read property, add ID of undefined. So it looks like our render thing works here, but then it gives us this weird cannot read property add ID of undefined, and here's where I find will be very helpful, because I can literally just do this, type this guy, and oops, and then see what the heck the HTML looks like. And for some reason I don't have my add idea there. Oh no, I do. It's this guy. So I do wonder why it's telling me that there is no add idea there. I can actually put the observer, I think, right here, and I need to make sure that I'm doing the right way. Mobx inject, because there was this very specific way what I need to inject and observe together, and if I'm using, they're saying here, observer should be in the inner declarator, inject and outer. Okay. Observer. And the reason I want it to be here, so this is our container, I guess, and inject goes around this. Looks highly magical, but still not getting an idea. And render is rendering the right thing. So I'm just going to limit this guy for now to run file tests. Okay, so we're getting ton of errors, cannot read property editing of undefined, blah blah blah, nothing works practically. So I'm gonna start with the first one. So where's the first one? That was kind of failing. Okay, so we go do the render, we try to find the add ID, and then for some reason we don't have the idea anymore. I've not changed that for sure. So the add idea should be still there. Oh, but we put it inside rect fragment. Is this why? No, rect fragment was here before, I'm pretty sure. And we're doing the shallow rendering. Let me see. So if I do component dot element dot first, and I check what this is. Okay, not helpful. Name. Not helpful either. I don't know. Give me something like a type. What is a simple thing it keeps giving me? What is that thing? Instance? No, instance can be called only on top level. I don't think I can call text on this. Oh yeah, okay. So this is an idea, sounds like. So why wouldn't you be able to, cannot property, oh, cannot read property add ID of undefined. So it's trying to call, if I'm only gonna, and here it helps to just run one test, because there's too many failing tests. So if I jump to error, oh, not failing tests, so jump to error source, here's where my error is, because the store here is actually undefined, which is correct. So what I need to do here is I need to set my, where I'm sending the ideas, here I need to make sure that I pass it to the store. So the easiest thing you can do, I guess, is just say And here it depends on like, do I want to depend on the store directly or not? So if I don't want to depend on the store and I don't want to do the integration testing together with the store, I just know that I need to have like an idea there. And because I need to have an idea, what I can do is I'm actually thinking I'm gonna make it required, and I hope this guy can be somehow made so that's like it understands that it's required there. So store, and the store we're gonna make. Where's the store? So store right now is idea store, and what I want to do is create the interface for this. Interface. I know idea store. So what we need to have is add idea there as a void, I guess, and we need to have edit idea, and that guy accepts idea of a string, and it returns void. And I think we also need to have idea as an array of ideas. Ideas. And for now that's it. So implements idea store. I know it's kind of a very strange name because it's I but yeah. So now I'm gonna use IITS store. They need a better name, I think. And then I don't need to know specifically which kind of idea store it gives it. And here then I can, because this feature, I don't need to use that class. What I need is just have something which has add idea here as a like a just function, even, and then edit idea, which accepts some kind of ID, and then it does it. It can be actually just function too. Yeah, doing the same. And hopefully that should be right. Comma. So now, as we pass the store here, and we try to call get idea, so now we're not getting this error anymore. Can property length of undefined? Yes, that is correct, because our items now, so when we get this add idea, oops, handle, it clicked. So before we were testing this, and this was a state logic inside this container, now it doesn't actually do any of this crap. So we kind of don't need this test to the extent, but we needed this test somewhere else. So I will create a new file here, new file relative to current view, ideas store.test.js, TS, import ideas store from ideas store, and I'm gonna practically copy this, paste this, and then instead of all the rendering crap, what we can do now is we can just instantiate new ideas store, and then when we do the store.addIdea, we expect, so this is our new idea, and we expect the store.ideas to have a length, so this is this part, to have a length, I'm just going to replace it, yeah, store.ideas and store.ideas editing should be truthy. So hopefully all of this should be working now. It keeps doing this thing to me where it's like I need to have editor config or something else, I think. The editor config. Okay, here we go. Indent size 2, indent style space. There we go. So now, we're there. Okay, now it's done correctly. Can I find window store? Yeah, store. Expect value to be truthy. why not? Editing. No, editing. Oh yeah, editing should be true there actually. That is correct. Ah, so here, right, we're transferring some tests which are actually legit. Okay, so now this works, and we can get rid of this test because this test was only checking the state modification. It renders the new idea when idea is changed. So again, we don't want to test mobx necessarily, and I can't test mobxes with more integration tests. So then I would have the actual mobx thing. So I wouldn't test the component itself. I would test the mobx part. And every time I switch there, my brain just like ping. So renders new idea on idea change. So we change the idea here, which I think it's when we, for example, modify the content, which we don't actually have yet, and then we expect the idea to be changed. Again, similar to this guy is moving now right here. And instead of component, we're just gonna do const star equals new idea star, and then we're gonna, whoops, I did not copy the right thing, I just realized. Because if you look at what I'm testing here, I'm not actually, I'm kind of testing that it is rendering, but not really. Copying the wrong thing. I'm testing really how this state modification works, and that's not really a nice test, I think. So what I want to do instead is this. So this is my thing, and then this is a component, right? So instead we're gonna do store equals new idea store. And does it allow you? Yeah, allows us to pass initial ideas. So just this there, and then so this is our ideas. This is specific idea, I guess. Store.ideas, and then we want to check these ideas to update. And looks like, oh, and I forgot to do this part, right? The actual act is, oops. Like this is, so I do copy, and then I do, here we go. I'm doing something weird there. So instead of doing change idea this, I'm gonna do store the change idea, and do exactly the same thing here. So here's another action, and I think I called it edit ID, didn't I? No, that's just switch to edit. Public method. Ooh, fancy. Okay, so I'm gonna call this. Yeah, I actually recently realized that I can do it differently because I can use JSDoc if I want, but maybe I don't. Change idea, and and now we can do ID, oh, not ID. What it accepts? It accepts the idea itself. And again, here I can just, for now, not do anything. Pretty simple. Make it an arrow function just in case it will pass it around. And it says, hey, something is wrong here. I don't know why I'm saving this guy. I need to save this. So, not saving correctly. So let's go and look at our change ID thing here. So there's a bunch of shit here. And I'm just gonna copy this for now, and then we're gonna figure out what do we need and what do we not. So, okay, so first we're doing something strange here called update idea state, which I honestly get kind of confused here. So I'm gonna copy this and copy that because they kind of all combine together and refactor it one thing at a time. Okay, so this is coding an API, so let's just remove the API call for now. I just want to do the simplest thing possible. And it calls, so update ideas, this guy called update ideas, and then this guy calls this state ideas. So this is the change, and instead of, and we're not gonna call set state anymore, because actually what we're doing here is we're practically just doing this. Find x idea, and then we just saying that this is so this is our idea to update, I guess. Um, and then we can do, whoops, and then we can do this dot. I don't like how this works, but because I would need to do this dot ideas dot. I think there was something, so let me just do dash. No, I want to search within dash. Lambda array. Yes. Ah, okay. Didn't work. Array. No, that's not how you look at it. So this category is list. That's why. And within the list, they have adjust. Applies the function to the given value of the array. No aperture. No append, chain, concat, contain, drop. Filter, find. It's almost like replace. Intersperse. Oh my god, okay, crazy stuff, map, merge, none and fish, partition, plug, prepend, range, reduce. I don't reduce, reject, remove, repeat, reverse, scan, sequence, slice. No. There is this thing called Lambda cookbook. And I think, where's this? What function should I use exactly? Because you look at like, wait, fucking functions. So here we go. Change every value, receive the index, select values, remove the last value, compute, replace the value at specific index, replace the value at specific index based on custom logic. What is that? Applies function to the value of the given index by returning a new copy. I mean, I can probably find it like this, but that's kind of like, so the second argument is the index, so I should be able to do something like this ideas dot adjust, adjust, and then, actually, you know what, I'm trying to be fancy. I'm just gonna keep this map thing here, and we can practically, if I reassign this, I think it's gonna fuck up certain things. So let me just do it, maybe not very clever way, but for now that works. So what I do is when I find this guy, I need to, so this is ID equals to the ID thing here. And when I find this, so idea to modify, yes. Then I'm gonna take ideas, because we kind of essentially need to define the resource for us. Or see if it equals ideas. I'm just gonna like pretend that it's gonna work. Okay, so this set state is, ooh, wow, okay. Here's the question, when I replace it like this, I have a feeling that this will not actually work. And the reason I have a feeling that this is not actually gonna work is that because of the following, that I'm replacing this whole thing and it's not gonna react properly. So let me just check this. So if I have, and yes, here I'm gonna do use like specific things from objects. which is, I'm going to call this guy an observer. And I'm going to create a function here, I guess, which let number of ideas equals 0, and this observer function, import it. And actually, this is from Mobux React. There is computed. And this is number of so this is like store.ideas.length equals number of ideas. So it should rerun this guy whenever I update it. And if it's correct, I expect number of ideas to equal 1, I guess. But it actually equals 0. And I think it is actually because this does not run as I expect it to run. Oh, I don't understand how this computer works. So let me just do this super hacky thing. This ideas dot find drives me very bad, but okay. X is the idea of that freaking thing, and this is our some kind of idea. And then if we found the idea, then we grab the idea's index, I guess. This guy does not return the index to me. That's what I don't like about it. I don't actually need to grab the index. I'm being an idiot. I just need to do object assign. And that takes, and again, this might fuck up things, but let's see. And that with an idea that is given to us. So I'm repeating kind of what we're doing to that. And now this should just work. It is not defined. Yeah, I don't care. I don't need to return here. And here I can actually just return, because we were doing this weird thing here. I can just return this. Okay, let's see if it works. Oops, some idea. Return. Not constant. I want it to be what? Okay, so cannot be property 0 of undefined. Oh, wrong place. So I'm gonna only run this guy. Oops, what the heck is that? Whoa, that was crazy. Okay, only. So it looks like our idea didn't get updated. I don't know why all this. Keep it content. So the content here is an empty string, while this seems to run, but I'm reassigning the reference here. So, which is kind of not what I want to do. I actually want to merge things, and I might need to use merge thing, because they have a merge here. So I might need to merge. And here's the problem with this, right? So merge here accepts two objects. So it's again returns as a copy and object. And Momox is very freaking persistent on us actually going and modifying the object on the fly. So I'm not sure, is it actually possible, and that's a good question, to have it do something else? Because here I mean, it would still supposed to work, I was thinking. It just might be not, yeah, content is brilliant, so some idea after this should be okay. So what about our ideas? Oops. Ah, right. because I'm reassigning this. I mean, I can't reassign like this. I need to actually replace the element within, so I do need to adjust. Okay, find index. Really didn't want to go fancy pants on this, but so the find index will give us the predicate. And that predicate, so now what we can do here is we pass x id equals to id, so that's this predicate, and then we adjust it by, so this is the function, applies the function to the value of the given index of array. So merge, and we give it idea, I guess, and then we give it this index thing, and then we give this guy, what's wrong with this guy? ID is not assignable to, like, I'm going to say please read only is not assignable to parameter number. Did I put the wrong thing? Yeah, this is number. Why is it returning? Yeah, so the first one is a function, the second one is a number. Oh yeah, I forgot to give it the list of ideas. Okay, and the merge will happen with this ID and stuff, and the adjust will happen on the ideas array. So this, I know not doesn't look very functional, but whatever. And unfortunately, I need to go back to that where it's index here. Const ideas equal return. So I'm not entirely sure that this is gonna work. Nope, it did not work because I think when I do the merge, this merge thing is kind of weird because if we kick this in both, the value from the second object will be used. So it's overriding the other way around. So I almost need to like flip this guy. Nope. Yeah, right. So let me just make it pass for a second. So these ideas, I'm gonna take the first one and I'm gonna pretend that content equals idea of content. And it has all this just, so I'm just gonna give it return. Okay. Happy. Okay, so it's happy for one, it's not happy for another one because it needs to be editing false. Editing is editing here. Did not work. Okay, there's number of ideas. Yeah, this continuous thing didn't really do what I expected it to, but so it works now, but this is very like ugly, yeah. So I want to see a good example for MobX to do up, and how do they actually? I just think I just said, how do they do modification properly? Because I feel like I'm not understanding how to do modification here. Okay, so where's my store models to do model? Toggle. Cool. Okay, so toggle all clear completed. To do completed equals check. So when I add new one, the push when they toggle all, for example, when they just need to change for everything, they just change the one. But this is not a very good example because it doesn't show how to modify an item. Because this is modification, right? This is like taking a to-do and then modifying it on the fly. So for example, this looks like this app doesn't let you update, which is cool. There is this edit thing here, so maybe it does let you update. Oh, but I know what they're doing. They don't have. They most likely when you type on it, they like updating it on the fly. So on change handle toggle. So this is the toggle thing, and this is the label, and this is the button, and this is the edit field. So when we edit text here, where's this edit text thing? That's an observable, okay. So value is edit text. Value is edit text, and on change we have a handle change. This edit text equals 7 target edit text. And if it's enter, then we do submit. Edit text props to do set title. Yuck! So what they're actually doing is each to do is kind of forced into this. I want to check the more documentation, but I don't like this, to be honest, because they're forcing you to modify. Maybe I don't understand this, so let me just read the concept a bit. Actions. I don't want to directly modify the store like they're saying there. Okay, so wait, introduction. Actions using classes. Yes, okay, whatever. I thought I'm at the Mobix homepage, apparently I'm not. Changing observables. Okay, so changing observables is an action. Yes, okay. Bound actions, increment the stick, run an action. This create item thing. Parting, decorators. Okay. Not very exciting. Why do this is what is this the official? Okay, so yeah. Okay, so manager John 3 ta 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 ta. So okay, 1 second, I want to see this. This might be an example of actually which works. So React examples. Tag step tools, I guess. Okay, so to do, unfinished count, add to do, remote to do, Don't know. This is too simple. Update, modify. They show this very cool things in the. Let me just switch to this part. So they show all of this, like, I don't know what you call it, like cool examples where it's very easy to add things, but when we need to modify it, and especially when we need to modify, let's say you have a bunch of things which is getting modified from the form and then it's coming up, which is a very common scenario in Redux actually. So I wouldn't want to, for example, if someone is editing something, then when they click cancel, what do? You don't want to modify the to-do directly, because when they click cancel, and then if you're modifying the state directly, how do you bring back the old state? So you can't. That's why I like to use a separate state for this. But if we use the separate state, then